All right, so this is going to be kind of a crazy video potentially, depending on how much my brain actually works, but I'm 40 years old. I got brain cancer. I already had a bunch of it cut out. I've had it for years and possibly my whole life. It's been affecting me, causing me problems, but I've always been a person that's planned and thought about the future and how to do things appropriately, because I thought I was going to live till 100, and I thought, at this point I would still have maybe 10 more years where I could work super hard, save a bunch of money, and then go travel the world and do whatever I want to and basically retire and still be young enough to do what I want to. And some of that stuff I did when I was young because I had kids when I was young. I mean, I got married as soon as I turned 18. I started having kids. My oldest, I got 3 boys and a girl. My oldest kids are every one of them is 21, or 17, 18. My youngest is 18. My oldest is 21. So they're my friends, basically. Some of them are in certain situations. They can help me. They're all going to school. They're they're also trying to live their lives and do their things. And now here I am, a non-functioning adult who basically needs help doing basic things sometimes. And fortunately, I'm able to talk, but that's the best I can do. And not even that works very well sometimes because of the fact that I cannot communicate the things that I want to say. And it makes me so frustrated and upset sometimes. Part of it's because the drugs I'm still on Keppra. I had to move to the short acting or the long term or whatever it's called. And it's not as bad, but it's also a freaking stressor because I freaking have brain cancer. Okay. And I'm going to die young and I can't do anything about it. I literally can't do anything about it. It's up here in my head. I've done tons of stuff, which I still need to release a video on. I went insane in the beginning trying to deal with all this. I did every kind of kook thing you could think of to try to get this worked out without me having to have this surgery. And I took it to the absolute level that I could. And I did things that were probably extremely dangerous. But what was the point in not trying those things? When you get to the end, you might as well try it all. Take it into your own hands. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I got chemo. I got radiation. I got some other trial pill to try out to see if it can help prevent the tumor from growing fast, because it's been a month and a half, I think, right now. I can't really tell you exactly what it is because I just don't know. I can't think of things that way yet. So basically the issue that I have is my brain is changing every day. So I'm getting smarter. Maybe I'm also getting dumber. I'm thinking about things differently. Stuff that didn't bother me is bothering me now. Little tiny things that weren't a problem are now a problem. It's just the way I view the world, the stuff I think about, the stuff I think are problems, and a whole bunch of other related factors. Those are all things that I now think of every day. So I would say it like this. The easiest way for me to describe this is I was a normal-ish person before I had this surgery. I had all the problems that normal people have, okay? I wasn't cracked out. I wasn't on drugs. I wasn't having problems. I was just a normal 40-year-old guy going through life, basically, okay? As normal as you can get. The one exception is I worked way too much. And I guess on one side that was a good thing because it helped me get set up. But on the other side, I definitely would have spent less time doing that and a lot more time with my kids, knowing now that I'm not going to have that time in the future that I thought I would have. So that's definitely something that I regret at this point, because time is something you can't get back. You can always make more money if you're willing to work hard. Everything you potentially want to do in life, you can always do that. But you don't have time. You only got the time you're going to get. So that's the one set factor for every single person on this planet, until they come up with something different, but probably not in my timeline. So effectively, I'm thinking about everything so different. I thought totally different. Then I had surgery. I woke up from surgery and I was stuck in my head. And the only way I can describe that is it's I was put in a jail cell. I was stuck there. I was in my head though. I couldn't communicate to the people outside. I couldn't tell them what I wanted to say. I couldn't like do the things I wanted to do. I didn't have the right kind of control. I couldn't hear right. I couldn't taste. I forgot all of my history, all my past stuff, all of whatever happened where that tumor was, anything that was in that tumor area that they had to cut out, all of my memories that were in that zone are gone. And I don't know that any of them will come back because I just don't know what was there. But I know that just the other day I watched, literally this morning I saw a video of me at a place that I've never been to. And I was literally just there. And that's freaking insane to me to even think about that, because I literally have no idea that I was there. And I would have to go back to even know that I was there. And it would be like going back to that place that I've never been to. I mean, I don't even know if that even makes sense. But so when I just got out of surgery, I had to be awake. Okay. So I saw them pulling the parts out of my brain, which was really cool. And then they had to put me to sleep to like patch me back up. And then I obviously fell asleep, and I woke up later on, and I was already like, then it becomes flashes because I know I had to go to the bathroom. I tried to stand up and go to the bathroom, but I like passed out because I had, I don't know, I just had brain surgery. So who knows? And nobody could understand me because I was like, blah, 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 you know what I mean? So I couldn't I wasn't in control is the way I would say it, because it was stuck in my head. So I could say what I wanted to in my head, and I was like, yeah, I need to go use the bathroom, please. But what came out was pee pee or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I was like a little toddler. And so I was just like, it just didn't make sense because what I heard and in my brain, like none of that lined up, and it just hurt my head. So that happened like once or twice, I think. And then after like a couple days or whatever, like I just was not very awake during that period. So I have probably a couple days of time where I was like basically in a coma, in and out of basically a dream state, but I don't really remember any of that. Then, except for that couple times when I passed out when I was trying to pee or whatever I was trying to do. And then they moved me to another part of the hospital, and I was definitely more functional, and people started to come visit me or whatever. The other thing I really remember is I kept asking people to hold my hand because I think I just felt like a kid during that whole phase. And it's really funny because now that I'm talking about it, I remembered there was a nurse that was a male nurse. And I was like, can you hold my hand? And he was like, no, bro, I can't do that. I'm too macho. You know what I mean? It was super funny. And I'm like, I really need somebody to like stay with me, spend time with me, because I felt like I was dead, and I was just like in a space of nothing. And so somebody holding my hand, that was what I also remembered when I had the brains cut out. My therapist person or whoever they are, my shrink or whatever, was holding my hand the whole time. And that's the feeling that I wanted to have, is that hand holding, which seems like such a basic thing. I guess maybe that's a kid thing. I don't know. So then after 2 or 3 people were holding my hand and all that, and they moved me to the next place, I remember like every day people would come to see me, whatever. I can't remember some of them, but it was like in the beginning, I was horrible. Like I just didn't make sense. There's videos of me where it just like, it's like so messed up. But that's also kind of flashes of time because I had no idea of what the concept of time was. Things just happened. So they would come in, they would be like testing me. They'd be like shooting me with needles and stuff. They'd be getting blood work done. They'd be asking me questions. And man, I couldn't even tell you what a clock was. I couldn't tell you what my hand is. I couldn't tell you my thumb. Like all this stuff that now is, some of it's coming back, but it's already been like 2 months. And a lot of it I still don't know. And so it's possible I never get it back. And that's just the reality of life with brain surgery. And, you know, we just don't know enough about brains. So it kind of is what it is. Now, after, this is kind of jumbled, but after the brain surgery, when I got through that portion and I came home, I felt incredible. Like there was and I don't know how much of this was drugs or how much of it was just that the brain tumor that was like pressing into stuff and causing problems. Like that portion of my issue, my like depression and anxiety and like problems I had and whatever else, all that was gone. And a lot of that I think was just because the history, The only way I could say it is the problems. So all the people that I had problems with because of things they did to me in the past or whatever, or regrets or whatever, all that disappeared for me. So it was like absolute freedom because I could see people. I couldn't really remember who they were. I thought they were 20 years younger. I thought I was 20 years younger. And I was like, I basically went back in time in my mind, and all the problems that I ever had with anybody went away. And so it was like incredible. And I'm still in that phase most of the time because I just have, like, I have to rebuild connections with everybody. Like I got reset, basically, is what happened. So now I'm trying to rebuild connections. And unfortunately, the way that my connections are being rebuilt are very highly dependent on how I get treated. And I think that makes a lot of sense because if you're a person that has to deal with somebody like me that does have brain cancer, that's had brain surgery, or any kind of massive thing that's affected your mental abilities, your ways to communicate, to act, to feel, whatever, they're different and they're always going to be different. And that's probably reality of life. And the people that have to be able to understand that and work with people in that situation, some will and some won't. It's just a reality of life. But you are the one, though, that has to come to that conclusion because you're the one that's going to have to be different. I can't be different. That's the reality. And I went through all of this with my family in the beginning, trying to work it out. And it was very hard. And it's still hard. But the problem is people still think that I'm who I was before. And I'm not, because I don't think and act the same way. And I can't think and act the same way. And because of that, things happen to me that affect me in different ways. And I make decisions differently, and I feel differently about things, and I can't make different choices. Everything that happens to me, I hold on to, and I need to come to a conclusion. And I don't know what that's called, but it has something to do with the fact that I need to fulfill things now. I could have made future plans and dealt with a problem in 10 years, in 5 years, and whatever. I don't have that time anymore. So if something comes up and there's a problem, I need to deal with it right now. I want to solve it now. I want to end it now. I want to move on now. I want to get people in my life now. I want to get people out of my life now. I don't have all of this time to talk about all of this stuff, which at the end of the day literally becomes bullshit. Okay? There's no reason why any of us should even be having most of the problems we do. We make it up in our head. We cause a problem and we want to like make people act differently, be differently, whatever. And it's on both sides of that situation. But here's the thing for me now. I don't have that problem. All I want is a yes or no. That's it. It's black and white. It's very simple. I want, you're either going to help me or you're not. And if you're not going to help me, then I don't ever want to see you again, because I don't have time to deal with people that I have to try to convince or like teach or whatever else, because I don't have that ability to almost do any of that anymore. So that is where a video like this comes up, because this is my only way. This is my best way to talk and to try to communicate what I'm trying to say, because I wouldn't be able to do this. If I made the same video in 5 minutes, it'd be totally different. If I make the next video, I probably already made this video. I can't even tell you. Maybe I've already made it and it's already up there and I've already said the same thing. And that's the reality that I live with, because almost every day it's different for me now. Everything's different for me now. I don't remember the things that I did. I don't remember what I've told anybody. I try to make decisions. I try to do stuff. And I also want to be in my own, I want to make my own decisions. And I'm definitely, my ability to make my own decisions has not gone. That is still there. The problem is my ability to communicate to other people. They're the ones that are trying to take advantage of me. And that's the unfortunate part, because people are not realizing that I have brain cancer and I had brain damage. That doesn't make me stupid. That doesn't make me not able to make my own decisions. It means that you, on the other side, have to get clarification. You have to ask questions. You got to make sure. If you think I'm saying something too good to be true, then it's up to you to make sure. And the reason is because if you're not, you're taking advantage of me. That's literally all that it comes down to. And it's unfortunate because people have done it since the beginning of time, and they've taken advantage of stupid people always. And even though I think that I'm not stupid, because I'm definitely still way more intelligent than most people I meet, I'm not able to communicate as well as an idiot can now, to a certain extent. because I can't use big words. I don't even remember what they are anymore. So I forget stuff all the time in the middle of talking. I jump between whatever's happening. My mind goes to wherever it's going, and that's the ride I'm on. And that's just what happens. So I'm learning how to deal with this and accept it because I just want to have the best life I can. Other people, though, are having a very hard time not being able to accept this. And I can't solve that. I can't do anything about that. Because the reality is all I can do is as good as I can for myself. And that's as good as I can do. And anybody else that's in my life has to be able to realize that it's up to you to do what you're going to do. I'm not going to come over to your house. I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to build this relationship that's missing. I'm not going to fulfill your desire or whatever else you need because I don't even care about any of those things anymore. So how would you expect me to do those things? So if you want to be involved in my life and you want to be with me, you have to understand that, and you have to be able to put in some work and then come hang out with me. That's how basic it is. I can't even drive anymore, okay? So now I can't even drive for 3 months because of seizures. 3 months? I think that's what I said. So basically, I can't even go anywhere, which I already was stuck here anyways. So I basically can't leave my house, and I have to be careful with everything I do. Supposedly, I can't do all these things because if I have a seizure, I probably die from it. I have to take medication or I die from it. So my entire life is now trapped. I am stuck in a cage, and that's all I have now. So this is the best way I can communicate. This is the best I can do, and I'm here. Okay, I'm here. And what's insane about this is the whole reason I even made this video is because the only reason I made this video is because I just want other people to understand a little bit about what it's like to go through something like this. And it's nuts. It's insane. I'm living in a different reality than most people, but I also want people that see this, that know me, to understand where I'm coming from, because I'm not the same person. And there's a period there. I probably will never become that same person because part of my brain is missing. I don't get what people don't understand about how basic this is, okay? If somebody takes a part of your brain, something is gone with that. You're gonna change. I mean, it's just so basic. You take drugs, you change. You take different medications, you change. On and on and on and on and on. So how can you expect me to be the same or treat you the same or even know who you are at this point? Because I don't know who you are. That's the reality. So don't try to act like and cause me a problem. I don't want to have any more problems. I don't want any more stress in my life. I don't owe anybody anything. And if I did, sucks for you because I forgot it. I mean, that's the reality. So I want to have the best life that I can. I only want people in my life that are going to help me. They're going to be nice to me. They're going to treat me well. They're going to make me feel good. That's all I want. And you know what? I think anybody in my position should be able to deserve that. And obviously that's selfish for me to say, but I'm the one that's going to have 2 years to live. I'm the one that had brain surgery. I'm the one that has the cancer. Why, if you're going to have 40 more years to live, you have to just make a choice. This is how simple it is. You just have to make a choice. And I'm talking to anybody. I'm not specifically talking to people in my family or people I know. I'm talking to anybody who's having to deal with somebody in my situation. It is time for you to step up or to just move out of the way. That's how simple it is. You know why? Because why do I want to deal with marital problems? Why do I want to deal with financial issues? Why do I want to deal with problems with kids? Why do I want to deal with shit neighbors? Why do I want to deal with just plain old shit people and jerks and all that kind of stuff? I don't at all. I don't at all. I'm going to treat everybody else nicely. I want them to treat me nicely. And now that my drugs have been fairly worked out, I mean, I'm definitely not as crazy as I was. I still have anger management problems, but I haven't had any like social blow-ups now for a while, which is good. So, and hopefully I met with a doctor yesterday who's getting me on an even better drug that's supposed to help me, which hopefully takes away all of those negative side effects that I have right now. And so if that happens, then I'll be able to make better, more coherent videos. My content will get better. And hopefully I'm going to be able to travel and do some different stuff because I sure as hell am not going to sit here on this property for the rest of my life doing nothing. I am going to travel maybe the United States, maybe to another country. And in fact, maybe I'll just live in a freaking car for the rest of my life, and I'll go travel the world and do what I want to and eat what I want to and just go have a good time and talk to people and whatever. And maybe that's just what I'll decide to do. And if that's what I want to do, then why would you stop me from doing that when this is all the time that I have left? And I get it that some people are going to be sad and some people are going to be like selfish and they want to make it about them and whatever else. But this is the reality of the life that I'm going to have left. And I don't want to spend my time having to solve problems that I no longer can even solve. I mean, this seems like such a basic thing to me, and I'm dumb. I mean, I'm like so basic in so many ways. And maybe that's why I can see these kind of things so much more clearly now, because the emotions don't get in the way. The other people's feelings, they're not getting in my way. I can just think about things black and white, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And it's basic. Treat everybody nicely, be nice to everybody, solves every problem pretty much on the planet. But we don't do that because we're so full of ourselves. We're stuck in all this crap that doesn't matter. We want to try to change everybody else when we already live in a utopian society, in a perfect world. Because any person that lives in America already has anything and everything they'll ever need. They just don't use it. They take drugs, they do whatever, and they want to make the world a worse place. That's it. It doesn't get better than this. It doesn't. All you can do is make it worse. Look at the countries you think America should be like. I guarantee you there's not any better than this, okay? There's a period there. This is a freedom-loving place, and you can either help it be that way or you can make it worse. And mainly what we see is a lot of people that just want to make it worse. People that want to get in my way, people that want to come onto my property, tell me what I can and can't do, on and on and on and on and on. What we need to do, only pass laws and get people back into power that only want to shrink the government, make America better, and take restrictions out of people's ways. Why do I still got to live in this society where I have to pay taxes and bills and I've paid for it all? Okay, this is my land now. I own it. That's it. Okay, this is my piece of dirt. But I still can't do what I want to do here as long as I'm not going to affect anybody else? That doesn't even make sense. That's not even freedom. So what we need to do is get people out of the way. Why do we need those people here doing all of this? Like, what's the point? And I know a lot of it is in my own head because I just don't think about things the same way, but same dumb crap we've dealt with for thousands and who knows, millions of years, living in caves, killing each other over pieces of dirt, trying to control each other and whatever else when it's so irrelevant. Just live your life, be happy, help other people, do what you can do to not cause other people problems, and shrink the governments as much as possible. That'll solve basically every problem you can think of on this planet, because anytime you put a king or a queen in power, they're always going to come knocking at your door.